on my little details there. But on an average month, we are significantly more likely, the overall women, to provide information to others, both through social media and more directly. Because we actually talk to each other outside of our social networks, whether it's by phone, out for cocktails, with our girlfriends, or of course when we're out visiting our nieces and nephews with our sister-in-laws, and our friends, etc. We're also more frequent sharers than other women. So not only do we share more, we share more often. And we are ahead of the curve on online media, which is really interesting. Because again, we tend to look at moms as the leaders in all of this. And the truth is, in some areas they might be, but PANKs are actually really out there, and they are first movers on a lot of online media. And then interestingly enough, for those who are interested in traditional media, we actually listen to a lot of radio. I don't know why or where that comes from. We are significantly more likely to listen to the radio. On a radio. I had to add that as opposed to online. So the question is how to acknowledge these women. So first of all, acknowledge them. So before you got the email for this great presentation, and before you sat here today and listened to this, how many of you have heard or even thought about this demographic of women? A few of you. Okay, good. Doing some work here, good. Okay, getting the momentum going. So first of all, acknowledge them. And try and get some more PANKs in your business, in your company. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll be talking to women, they're all PANKs themselves, and yet the conversation goes back to, okay, but how do we market to mom? Again, why don't we just market to ourselves? We have to stop avoiding stereotyping them as non-nesters. In fact, I didn't show you that slide. The full presentation is on my website. That we are actually more likely than the average woman to enjoy and share information on home decor. We want to know that we are getting value for our money. So while we do enjoy spoiling our nieces and nephews, we also quite enjoy getting a good deal. And so it's a good idea to actually target your packages for travel, or target your services or your products or your loyalty programs to these women. I remember once a now defunct clothing store had a special deal for twins. If it was twins, you got whatever was 20% off. And I went there because I had twin nieces and I was ready to go. And they said, no, you're not the parent. But I was the one in the store buying their stuff. Why? Because it was a luxury brand. The PANK is more likely to be buying those big ticket items. You should be developing online campaigns for PANKs, because obviously that's where we are. Use experts and female celebrities in your campaigns. So what we found out was that the PANK is more likely than the average woman to actually want to hear from women like them, especially celebrities and business owners, personalities, Melanie Notkin, and message their unique relationship with kids. So it's true that while they may not have children of their own, and by the way, many aren't child-free by choice, they've never planned to have children, but it doesn't mean that they don't love the children in their life. Some of them, like me, haven't delayed having children. I've just somehow been delayed in finding the right guy. Anybody knows where he is. And we want to promote traditional mom categories to this demographic. So we talk about food and clothing and fashion. Sometimes I'll see an ad and it's directed at mom, and it has nothing to do with motherhood. And frankly, the moms don't love it either, as we saw in an earlier presentation. And then appeal to our sense of community purpose. Interestingly enough, again, a slide that you didn't see here is we're actually more likely to be involved in volunteer work and community work, and even go to church or synagogue. This is a really valuable group of women, and what's interesting about them is that beyond what I'm doing, there are very few marketers who actually are actually beginning to reach out to them. In fact, that Best Buy ad is really the only one. Sears did one a few years ago, I think 2009, 2010, for Mother's Day, and they included ads in that as for all the mothers, which was wonderful. Speaking of all the mothers, just back in March, I released my second book called Elderhood, Modern Women Finding a New Kind of Happiness. It's nonfiction, a qualitative look at this demographic, the growing demographic of women who don't have children, and especially those who always wanted children. And just like I had teamed up with Weber Shandwick on the Power of the PANK, I teamed up with DeVries, also part of the Interpublic group, to look at shades of otherhood. So again, on my website, you'll see that, and that's looking at this group of women, whether or not they have children in their life, and how marketers can reach them. So with that, I wanted to make sure that you were listening, and so how many PANKs are there in America? Yes. No, but good to know. Points for that. Yes. Not 9 million. 23 million, you win. Ooh, what's your name? John? Okay, I'll get it to you. I'm gonna sign for you. Okay, and that means X in how many? X in 1 in 6, no?
1 in 5.
What? No, 1 in 5? You win. You got it. Okay. And then one more. What is the research study on otherhood called? Oh, you weren't listening. Who said that? You got it. Shades of Otherhood. Okay, well, thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it. And I'll be out later during the break if you want to say hi.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Fantastic. And please do talk to Melanie afterwards if you have questions about her work or her next book. I'd really like to introduce